You're listening to a special interview segment from the official podcast of WrestlingNewsSource.com.
Okay, folks, now it's time for a special interview portion of our show. We're going to have a Ring of Honor current wrestler known by the name of Adam Cole. Adam, welcome to the show.
Great. Thank you guys for having me on the show today.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate you joining us. Kicking things off, Ring of Honor recently being purchased by Sinclair. Going to be airing in late September, I believe.
Yeah, September 24th.
Oh, very nice. Okay. And first taping is going on this Saturday, so you're going to have a pretty big weekend coming up for you.
Oh, a very big weekend, too. And, let me just touch base for a minute, too. Obviously, I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. And wrestling and television are hand in hand. So in order for Ring of Honor to really grow and become the company that it truly is capable of becoming, this partnership with Sinclair is just something that everyone within Ring of Honor is so excited about. But it was also such an exciting time and such a relief, too, to know that Sinclair Broadcasting is completely on board with this. They have such faith in ROH, and they really believe that ROH's product, currently as it is now, should not be tarnished or changed in any way, and that it really offers something different to the pro wrestling world, and it truly is the alternative in professional wrestling to a WWE or a TNA. And I really think that given the opportunity to showcase what Ring of Honor is capable of on a grander stage with something like broadcast television is just unreal to me. I mean, I grew up watching wrestling just like I'm sure all of you guys did, and I'm sure whoever's listening to this, obviously a big wrestling fan growing up. So this will be very neat to have something truly different on television in Ring of Honor.
Absolutely. What was your initial reaction when hearing that Ring of Honor had been purchased by Sinclair?
Oh man, I had so many different emotions go through my body. First of all, like I said, because I'm so young. I'm 22 years old. I've only been wrestling for 3 years, so I'm very fortunate to have an opportunity like this. So I was so excited just at the possibilities of what could happen with ROH being seen by so many different people. Because I remember actually when I was just a fan of wrestling, when I wasn't involved with wrestling, Ring of Honor was the product that I showed my friends to make them think that wrestling was cool. Because even though I was a fan of WWE and TNA and Japanese wrestling and all kinds of wrestling, Ring of Honor was a product that for whatever reason, people are really drawn to. And I think with the boom of UFC right now and the realism of that and people being portrayed as just pure athletes is something that's kind of hot right now. So lots of guys, that 18 to 35 male demographic, really think Ring of Honor is cool. Anyone that I've shown certainly hasn't been disappointed with what they've seen. So now thinking that so many more people will get to see ROH is really cool, and I hope the fan base continues to grow. And it's also a scary process too, because there's a lot of unknowns. A lot of people were curious as to. I mean, a lot of people were worried too. Is Sinclair going to take everyone on the ROH roster? Are they going to get rid of some guys and bring in some different people? But we were very relieved to know that from the get-go, Sinclair Broadcasting wanted the current ROH product. So for the most part, it's just all completely positive, at least from my standpoint. I'm just completely excited at the opportunity.
So I take it that the morale is pretty high in the locker room, going into this.
Yeah, the morale is very, very high. Very, very high. Knowing that, for example, a lot of these guys work very, very hard, and that's something too. Is the second that I walked into the ROH locker room, the coolest thing to me about the locker room, even before the Sinclair purchase went down, was that everyone in that locker room genuinely wants to be the absolute best wrestler that they can be. So for a young guy like me, it's just a very motivating time because knowing that guys like Davey Richards and guys like Chris Hero and guys like Claudio and at the time Christopher Daniels just continue to strive for perfection. It makes the young guys like me and Kyle O'Reilly and Mike Bennett and Michael Elgin and Tommaso Ciampa say, hey, we always got to keep getting better and we always have to improve. And that's why I think Ring of Honor is such an exciting product. So when Sinclair came to us and said, hey, this is the opportunity that we're giving you guys, we didn't find any negative in it. We completely looked at the positives of it and said, hey, now we have a chance to showcase what we can do on a much, much larger stage. So it's just a completely positive atmosphere, like August 13th in Chicago Ridge for the first set of TV tapings. Everyone is so excited. I mean, at this point, it's days away. So, yeah, everyone is very, very excited, like I said, to really show everyone what we're all about.
Absolutely. And it's going to be a pretty big card starting off, you and Kyle O'Reilly are going to be going up against the Bravado brothers. Also the Briscoes and versus All Night Express. Eddie Edwards versus Michael Elgin. The ROH TV champion, El Generico versus Jay Lethal. The ROH Tag Team champions, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas versus the Kings of Wrestling. And finally, the ROH champion, Davey Richards versus Roderick Strong. With you being in the business for such a short time, how does it feel going up against names like the Briscoes and the Kings of Wrestling and, all those other guys that are in there?
Oh man, it's like I said earlier about having a mixed range of emotions. It's the same deal here, where it's a very intimidating process to walk into the ring with my partner Kyle O'Reilly, who I respect so much. And I mean, we're like, for example, me and O'Reilly are so much more than just a tag team. We've truly have become really, really close friends, not only in pro wrestling but in our personal lives as well. So it's so intimidating for the both of us to be able to walk in and face guys that we were just such fans of growing up, and now we're getting to wrestle these guys. But at the same time, it's very exciting because we've truly been tested and we've really, really been pushed to our absolute limit, wrestling, in my opinion, some of the absolute best in the world. So it's great because we know that we're only going to move forward and we're only going to progress and we're going to continue to grow as wrestlers, which is what we need right now. It's such an important time of our careers, and with Ring of Honor going to Sinclair Broadcasting, me and Kyle have that vision of one day becoming the top tag team in Ring of Honor. And in order to do that, we have to face the best, and we have to really prove ourselves and really see what we're made of. So it's very, very exciting, very, very intimidating, but that's part of the game. So,
right, and you're in the RH tag division is completely stacked with Kings, Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team, you guys, All Night Express, Briscoes, etc. With a lot of talk about wrestling, tag team wrestling being kind of dead or a lost art form, or something that's just not featured in other companies, I was wondering if you could, maybe tell us what it means to you to be in a tag team in such a stacked division in a company that not only features tag wrestling, but kind of makes it a focal point of their company.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, because even when I first broke into wrestling, I had complete visions of just being a singles wrestler. And I think a lot of that reason is not only in pro wrestling, but the audience to a grander scale, like I'm talking like WWE and TNA and things like that. The audience has been trained to believe that tag team wrestling is a sideshow act. And I even bought into it at one point. I thought, and the only way I'm really going to succeed is if I'm a singles wrestler, so I'm going to completely focus on being a singles wrestler. But this could not be any further from the truth. And I think Ring of Honor has really, really proven that with its tag team division. I will speak to anybody and argue with anybody about ROH currently right now having the best tag division in the world when it comes to professional wrestling. And as far as the bringing out like a passion and an excitement for tag team wrestling, Ring of Honor has done that so well, and they've succeeded in doing so. They have shown time and time again why tag team wrestling is so important, and it's such a commodity. When you have someone like Jim Cornette involved also in the booking process, who was so influential with guys like the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express, etc., influencing the guys in Ring of Honor about the importance of tag team wrestling. And then, like you said, when you have teams like the Kings of Wrestling, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, the Briscoe brothers, etc., it's an honor to be in the ring with those guys, and it also has revamped my excitement for tag team wrestling. Like teaming with Kyle O'Reilly has been such a pleasure, and the fans really seem to enjoy it as well. And I do think it's something that we'll be able to bring to the table now that we're here with Sinclair Broadcasting, and we'll be able to show this on a bigger stage. Like I said before, the tag team wrestling is so important, not only to Ring of Honor, but professional wrestling. So absolutely, tag team wrestling is something that's often overlooked, but unfortunately shouldn't be, and I think ROH is going to show exactly why tag team wrestling is so important.
So, going back to your past, you've credited WrestleMania 17 as being your catalyst to want to get into wrestling, with the match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and versus The Rock. What other wrestlers inspired you during the start of your wrestling career?
Yeah, well, to touch base on that a little bit, if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
Yeah, the biggest reason, and like you guys mentioned, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock was so influential to me because it was the first time that I ever got goosebumps ever. Watching any kind of wrestling, or even bigger than that, like movies or TV or music or theater or anything. I was so moved by the story that those guys told in the ring, and at that point I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. So Stone Cold Steve Austin will always be a guy at the top of my list when it comes to guys who made me want to be a wrestler. But then even further than that, guys like Kurt Angle. I remember just being a kid, and I remember watching wrestling, like taking it back to Stone Cold, and I used to just really be into like his entrance because I thought he had such a presence, and I was so excited when he'd come out. I barely even paid attention to the matches. I was just so enthralled by him and who he was. But then you had a guy like Kurt Angle who really kind of made me realize, okay, he's a lot better in the ring than a lot of the guys that I'm seeing on WWE TV. So then I started to pay more attention to the in-ring action and why I liked Kurt, like his classic with Chris Benoit at Royal Rumble 2003, his absolutely flawless match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. I mean, Kurt is a guy that's just was so inspiring as far as his work ethic and what he brought to the table wrestling-wise. So he was another guy, even to this day, that I respect so much and that I really, really look up to. But then I also have to credit a guy who is being talked about by everyone in the professional wrestling world right now, and that's CM Punk. For the main reason of Punk was a guy that actually introduced me to the independent wrestling scene. I remember at the time I was so wrapped up into the WWF, then turned WWE at the time. I caught a little bit of WCW. I caught ECW at the very end when it was on TNN, so I had a lot of catching up to do. But then there was a website called ObsessedWithWrestling.com that I checked out, and I think it's Online World of Wrestling. It was such a great website, and at the time, they were talking about was this guy CM Punk, and I had never heard of him before because I wasn't really an indie wrestling follower at that point. So I checked him out, and he just blew my mind with his promo ability. The guy was unreal. I remember watching his matches and being like, okay, yeah, he's pretty good, but I don't really see what all the hype's about. And then I saw his feud with Raven, and I was just blown away. And just by Punk's ability to draw me in as a fan to wanting to watch everything that he did and watch every match that he had, just because of the way he talked me into buying a DVD. And at that point, it just completely opened my eyes and realized that there's a lot more out there than the WWE. And that's something that I always tell fans of wrestling who either watch WWE, TNA, or Ring of Honor. There's just so much out there.
Definitely.
There's so many great guys out there that you can watch, and but that's what makes pro wrestling so exciting to me. Is there's just countless hours of footage that you can watch, and you'll never see it all. And there's always some guy coming up that's doing something different and doing something exciting that just completely blows your mind and always keeps you intrigued and always, makes you want to buy the next DVD. So Punk was one of those guys also that was very, very influential in making me realize there's a lot more out there than just Vince McMahon and his corporate structure of the WWE.
Absolutely.
You also trained at CZW Academy under John Dahmer and DJ Hyde. With Ultra Violence, being tagline for CZW, do you ever feel pressure to, do that hardcore deathmatch style that CZW was known for?
Yeah. When I first started training there, that was the big question I had from a lot of different people. And to be honest with you, I never felt pressured to do an ultraviolet match in my career. And to DJ's credit, he's never asked me to. John Zandig never asked me to, because they knew what I brought to the table was something different than the ultraviolet wrestling. CZW is a company now, especially under DJ Hyde's ownership, that is actually much more well-rounded than it's perceived to be. For example, the ultraviolet wrestling is, of course, its tagline and something that CZW does better than any company in the United States as far as the independent level goes. But at the same time, DJ has done such a good job of making it a well-rounded company with really, really great wrestling. We have really, really good high flyers, really, really hard strikers, hilarious characters. You get everything out of CZW. So fortunately for me, I was never put into a situation where I had to do that. Even though I respect the guys who do the deathmatch wrestling so much, because you have guys like Drake Younger and Scotty Vortex and Danny Havoc, who really have turned it into an art form, especially a guy like Drake Younger. I mean, the guy is phenomenal at putting a deathmatch together and making it exciting for the fans and exciting for the people who buy the DVD. So he's phenomenal. But yeah, like I said, at the same time, CZW is also very well-rounded. There's a guy, Sammy Callahan, who's unreal, who can do it all. He's a great deathmatch worker. He's a great pro wrestler who can just do it all. And then you have me, who I haven't done any deathmatch stuff, but like for example, DJ put myself and AR Fox for the Junior Heavyweight Championship in the main event of the CZW show, and there was
World Junior Heavyweight.
Yeah. There was no deathmatch stuff involved whatsoever. So he's really trying to kind of turn it around and make it a more well-rounded product, which I think is smart to do. So that way, fans of pro wrestling can maybe get a little bit of everything when they buy a CZW DVD.
I know you've had some additional training in what I would assume to be like seminars under guys like Les Thatcher and Al Snow, and I've heard Al Snow talk a lot about like his philosophy in wrestling and how what he views to be a problem with a lot of guys is that everyone wants to go out there and have the best match on the show and not necessarily do what's right for their spot on the card. And I was wondering, is that something that you agree with, or do you think everybody should have the opportunity, if they have the ability, to go out there and steal the show?
I do. I 100% agree with Al Snow's philosophy, and I'll even use early Ring of Honor as an example. There was a point when Ring of Honor first started where they had the philosophy of everyone goes out and tries to steal the show. And lots of times, the crowd by the main event would just be totally burned out because they've seen just phenomenal wrestling after phenomenal wrestling after phenomenal wrestling. And there's only so much great wrestling. No matter how much of a big wrestling fan you are, sitting through 4 hours of, 20-minute head drop, high spot, kicking out of a million false finishes matches, there's only so much of that an audience can take.
Right.
So I do 100% agree with the philosophy of knowing your place on the card, knowing what your job is, knowing what the goal is. But at the same time, there's a lot of promotions out there that I almost think have the wrong understanding of how pro wrestling should be. Like, for example, guys will book just random guys on their show, and they'll fill their undercard with that, and they'll say, they'll book like a 4 to 6 man match, and they'll say, you guys have 6 minutes, and all you guys have to get over, and if you do, then I'll bring you back. If you don't, then don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. And that's an unfortunate problem with a lot of pro wrestling promoters now, because you'll have an undercard filled with guys just doing moves to try to get over to impress the promoters and to impress the fans, but it's being done for the wrong reasons. Whereas now, like, you look at Ring of Honor's product now, everyone has a place, everyone has a mission, everyone has a goal for each and every match on the card. If not every match is going to be 20 minutes of like I said, that big match feel, that epic match. But if you do your place, or if you know your place, and if you do your job, eventually you will get that opportunity to have that match. And if you excel, then maybe you'll be higher up on the card at that point. So I 100% agree with Al Sano's philosophy, and I really think it does make for a very, very good wrestling show and a really well-rounded wrestling show, which I think a lot of people need to take notice of for sure.
Okay. What would you say, with your time being in Ring of Honor, what would be like a short-term goal and a long-term goal for you?
A short-term goal for now, and I don't know how long it's going to take us, but me and Kyle O'Reilly for sure want to just keep improving as a tag team and keep growing. Me and Kyle recently went on a tour of Europe from February to March. We got to really improve our game over there. So short term, man, I really think me and Kyle want to. Recently at a Tag Team Turmoil 2011 in Richmond, Virginia, me and Kyle earned a shot at the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships at some point during this year. So realistically, with the momentum that we've had, I really think that short term, me and Kyle would love to become ROH World Tag Team Champions. I think we've really grown as a team. I think we've meshed so well as a team, and I think potentially that will be in our cards at some point in our ROH careers. Looking long term and a couple years from now, because me and Kyle have that mindset, both of us have the mindset of just wanting to be the absolute best. In ROH, that means you have to be the ROH World Champion. So, at some point in my career, I would love to direct my attention to that and really become ROH World Champion. That's everyone's goal who's in ROH, and it should be that way. And like I said, I think that's why it creates such an exciting product for everybody, because everyone wants to be the best. Right now, Davey Richards is the best, and even Kyle O'Reilly, who's Davey Richards' protege. As much as he respects Davey, and as much as he looks up to Davey, as he should, as I do, as many people do, Kyle one day would love to hold the ROH World Championship, even though that's his trainer. I one day would love to hold the ROH World Championship. Everyone's gunning for that title. Every tag team in ROH is gunning to be the ROH World Tag Team Champions. So yeah, I would say short term, me and O'Reilly, maybe one day becoming ROH World Tag Team Champions, and then looking long term, I would love to be at the top of ROH and love to be ROH World Champion.
Absolutely.
You just kind of touched on your tour of Germany, where you had like notable matches against guys like Zack Sabre Jr. I was just kind of curious: is there any other countries out there that you'd like to tour that you haven't got a chance to go to yet?
Oh, for sure. And to me too, that is such a perk of pro wrestling is just getting to travel. And getting to see the world. Like there's so many places I've seen, not only in the United States that I would never get to, but like I would have never gone to London, England, and Germany and things like that if it wasn't for pro wrestling. And I take full advantage of that. But not only would I like to go to England and Germany again, obviously Japan is a place that I would love to go. I think everyone, not only who works for Ring of Honor, but for the most part, everyone in pro wrestling would love to go to Japan. I might have some stuff lined up in Australia for later this year, which I'm just so excited about and would love to do. But yeah, really, and I'm not kidding when I say this. I mean, any place that I could travel worldwide, I would love to go. I would wrestle in Afghanistan if I could. I love traveling and I love experiencing the world, and not only growing as a pro wrestler, but just growing as a human being. Because it's so neat to be able to travel and experience so many different things worldwide, and pro wrestling has given me that gift. So, but I would say mainly just as far as improving my game, Japan has to be the top of that list for sure.
Right on. Well, it's kind of been rumored that ROH, is trying to reestablish their relationship with Pro Wrestling Noah. So if that opportunity came knocking, would it be possible to see Adam Cole on a Pro Wrestling Noah tour?
Oh, I hope so. I would certainly hope so. I'll certainly be begging for it. That's for sure.
Because I need to see Adam Cole versus Naomichi Marufuji and Adam Cole versus Kenta. So try to make that happen for me, please.
Yes, please. Send the emails to the ROH office and make it happen.
Absolutely.
So, like, what's been your favorite match that you've competed in so far?
Oh man, gosh, there's so many for so many different reasons. Like for example, WrestleMania weekend when me and O'Reilly wrestled the Briscoes and we wrestled the Kings of Wrestling. That was awesome. That was a great weekend for me and Kyle. Me and Kyle recently wrestled the Young Bucks or Generation Me in the Hammerstein Ballroom, June 26th at Best in the World. That was awesome. There was like 2,500 people there. And then even more recently, me and O'Reilly wrestled the American Wolves of Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards in Charlotte, North Carolina. A few people are saying already that's a Match of the Year candidate, but that was, again, just such a test for us and such a dream come true as well, just getting to go toe-to-toe with the absolute best in the world. But I'm going to say, just for moment purposes, me and Kyle's match against Rhett Titus and Kenny King, the All Night Express at Final Battle 2010, for this reason, and there's a little bit of a story to it. Me and Kyle had recently signed with Ring of Honor, and me and Kyle went to the Glory by Honor show just to watch, because we had recently signed contracts with ROH, and it was in the Manhattan Center. And we watched the show. That was the show that Tyler Black lost the World Championship to Roderick Strong. It was the first time Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team wrestled the Kings of Wrestling. And me and Kyle were standing there watching the show. And I turned over to Kyle, and I said, Kyle, I think me and you are going to get to open Final Battle this year in the Manhattan Center. And he goes, man, that'd be crazy. That'd be wild. I said, I know. I said, but I just had that feeling. I said, it'd be awesome. And he goes, yeah, I agree with you. And the plan was that we were not supposed to be on Final Battle 2010. But for a show we had in Mississauga, Ontario, we were originally scheduled to wrestle the All Night Express in Canada. Well, long story short, there were travel issues, and Eddie Edwards actually got hurt the night before at Survival of the Fittest, which he won. So there were some card changes, and we ended up wrestling the Bravado Brothers. But Delirious still wanted to have the match with me and O'Reilly versus the All Night Express. So what he did was he had no choice but to put the match on Final Battle because he really, really wanted to get that match in. So like I said, we weren't supposed to be on Final Battle, but he put it on because it didn't work out in Canada. So gave us that opening card spot. And then the crowd just received us so well. And in my opinion, that was me and Kyle's breakout match where we got to tell the audience, hey, listen, we're not only here to stay, but someday we're going to be a top tag team in Ring of Honor. And like I said, the New York crowd just received us so well. When you wrestle guys as talented as Kenny and Rhett, you can't go wrong. So I think for moment purposes, and I think looking back on our ROH career so far, that match has to stand the test of time for me as far as being something that's so special.
Very nice. What would you say, a match you haven't had, what would probably be your dream match?
Oh, man. Like of all time, if I could pick anything?
If you could pick anyone, past or present, yeah.
Eddie, okay. Oh, man, that's tough.
I'd like to put you on the spot.
Yeah, you know what? I guess that this is so unrealistic, not only because I don't work for a company that he did work for, and he actually retired recently. But for me, my biggest, ultimate dream match would be me against Shawn Michaels. For the reason of Shawn, to me, he's the perfect wrestler. He was a great babyface. He was a great heel. He was a great high flyer. He was a great technician. He was great on the mic. He had a great look. No matter who he was thrown in there with, he could have a great match. He was a bump machine. Everything he did, I believed. And the most motivating thing to me about Shawn Michaels was no matter how good he was, or no matter how many people told him he was the best ever, whether it was Triple H or Ric Flair, he still strove to improve. And he still strove just to be the absolute best that he could be at all times. Even when he was getting ready to retire, he still had that mindset of, I can get better, and I want to have the best match on the show. Because that was the role he was booked in at all times. He was just one of those guys you could count on as having an awesome match every single time. So Shawn Michaels, to me, would be like the ultimate dream for sure. Like I said, very unrealistic. But maybe someday I'll convince him to come out of retirement to have a match with Adam Cole. Who knows?
Well, with all that being said, who comes out on top?
Oh, me for sure.
There you
You
go.
got to put the young guy over, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
I mean, you gotta,
Oh,
okay.
I'd have to win, and it would be like a 2-minute match.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm kidding.
That quick, huh? Well, Adam
No,
Cole.
I'm kidding. Oh gosh, yeah, I would. There's no way I could go over Shawn Michaels.
Well, you know he's got
No
a
way.
hunting show, so
No
you might
way.
want to be cautious what you say.
I would lay down as long as we got to go like 30 minutes.
There you
Please.
go. Very anyone. So, well, thank you very much, Adam Cole. Going to be teaming up with your tag team partner Kyle O'Reilly versus the Bravado Brothers this Saturday for the first taping of the Ring of Honor. It's being purchased by Sinclair. Going to be airing on September 24th. You said.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
Airing September 24th.
Just double checking. If there's anyone who wants to hit you up, what's your you got Facebook, Twitter, anything like that?
Yeah. I have. You can friend me on Facebook at facebook.com/Adam Cole Pro. I also have a Twitter account where you can follow me at twitter.com/Adam Cole Pro. I have a new YouTube channel as well where I have this guy Dan Mitchell, who's an awesome guy. He lives in England and he's done a great job running my YouTube channel, which is also, you can guess, youtube.com/Adam Cole Pro. But very, very cool stuff up there, like moves and promos and blogs and Q&As and stuff like that. And then also I have a new website out where you can buy like T-shirts, DVDs, pictures, whatever you'd like, at www.adamcolepro.com, where you can find the latest information and stuff like that on my website. So feel free to check all of those out.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We certainly do wish you the best of luck this upcoming Saturday, and we look forward to seeing you on Ring of Honor. And
Great, yeah. No, thank you guys so much for having me. This is a good time.
Thanks, Adam. We really appreciate
thank
it,
you
man.
for being on the show, man.
Oh, no, sure. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to have you back.
Anytime.
Great, awesome, guys. You guys have a good one, okay?
All right. You too. Take care.
All right, you too.